disrupted. System back online. System up.
Wyvern, what's your...
What's up, agents? Welcome back to the channel. It's the Werewolf Gaming, back with another Division 2 video. Alright, today guys, we got a very powerful rifle to showcase. Easily one of the most powerful guns in this game in my opinion. And the gun we're going to be referring to today is the Ravenous rifle. This rifle is amazing, but as of right now, there are only two ways you can obtain this weapon in the game, guys, and that is through the Operation Iron Horse Raid or the Dark Zone. Now, your chances of obtaining it is much higher if you do play the raid. You have a percentage of drop chance from each boss that you kill up to 1%, and the final chest in the end of the raid, your percentage of obtaining is 10%. Also, guys, if you raid with people who already have a weapon and they do obtain it, there's a high likelihood that they may be generous enough to drop it for you. And that was how I did obtain mine, guys. I did raid with some amazing gamers. With that being said, this rifle is the benefit of it is that one thing that really makes it truly stands out is that it has offensive and defensive capabilities built within the gun. So overall, this is an amazing gun for doing pretty good damage and also decent survivability as well. With that being said, I do want to give a big thank you to everyone that continues to support me on this channel, especially those who always have something positive to say, guys. Really appreciate each and every one of you for your valued time and continued support. These builds, guys, that I showcase are just what I am using in my gameplay. There will never come a time where I'm telling you that this is the meta build, this is the go-to build, or this is the most powerful build, guys, because, guys, and I like a lot of diversity when it comes to my build. I don't always just focus on those builds that are very squishy. I like builds where you can take a hit and still survive. And as you see in the gameplay right now, we are currently playing on Legendary. This build works on Legendary or any content within the game. Also in the video today, guys, I do have two versions of this build that I do use every so often, and I will show you that whenever we go to build breakdown. Alright, agents, hope you enjoy the rest of the gameplay. This time we're going to do this video a little bit different today, though. I'm going to let you finish watching all the rest of the gameplay. Not going to be very long, and then because the breakdown of how this weapon works will take a little bit longer, and we'll go over the build breakdown after I finish showing you the rest of this gameplay.
Incinerator.
Alright, agents, so like I said, in this gameplay today, I am utilizing two different builds with this rifle. Overall, this is an amazing gun. Very fun to use, and I just wanted to give you a little bit of tips when using this gun because I am a controller console player, and I know a lot of people really don't care for the switching shoulders like that to be able to get the benefits of using this weapon. So one thing I do want to mention is that just whichever one you're going for, offensive or defensive first, generally whenever I use this gun, I like to build up my stacks using the defensive talent first with primer and then switching to the offensive talent. That way, if other enemies are shooting or targeting at me at that given moment, I will have that bonus armor. On top of that, I will have the benefit of using the intimidate talent as well. So that whenever I do focus on whatever primary target that I am firing at, I will be able to do the most amount of damage at that given moment, while having a good bit of survivability as well. Overall, this gun can be kind of aggravating at first when you do start using it until you get used to it. But whenever you do, guys, you will truly enjoy this gun and how it works. Like I said, I've seen these builds, plenty of builds before. A lot of agents like to make their builds pretty squishy to do a lot of damage. But when it comes to my gameplay, guys, I like balance. In my gameplay, I want enough survivability and still do decent damage as well. I'm not always just worrying about just seeing high damage numbers. I'm all about completing the content and enjoying it while I do it. Don't get me wrong, high damage builds are very fun, but if you still can get the job done with having a lot of armor, I'm gonna choose to go with the most amount of armor that can get the job done. All right, so the star of the show is the Ravenous rifle. Amazing rifle. Again, the only way you can obtain this weapon is through the Iron Horse raid or the dark zone, which is a very low drop chance. I would recommend you just do the Iron Horse raid. All right, as you can see, it is fully maxed out, guys, with a weapon expertise of 30%. The core attributes are maxed out with 15% rifle damage, 17% critical hit damage, and 10% damage to target out of cover. One of the weaknesses with this gun is the weapon handling. As you can see, the accuracy is pretty poor, and the stability isn't that great either. But I would definitely suggest you put some stability and accuracy on your build. All right, the talent is what we truly was going for on this gun, though, guys, and the talent is called Jerry and Freaky. Overall, this talent, what it does is on trigger pull, you fire both barrels at once. This is a double barrel rifle, so whenever you're shooting out double bullets at one time. When fired from the right shoulder, hits add offensive primers, and defensive primers when fired from the left shoulder. So basically, you want to build up your armor, you fire from the left shoulder. You want to build up, do damage, you fire from the right side first. Hits from one shoulder will detonate all of the opposite shoulder's primers when present. When detonated, each offensive primer deals 100% weapon damage, while each defensive primer grants 4% bonus armor and 10% amplified damage to armor plates. Primer effectiveness is doubled at 10 stacks. The mods to come is 5% critical hit chance, 10% reload speed, and 5% critical hit damage, and 10% stability. All right, guys, and at the end of each season, they always give you an event that takes place that gives you a chance to obtain these exotic raid weapons. So hopefully they continue that trend and give you solo gamers like myself a chance to obtain it. All right, guys, so for the secondary weapon, we did go with the Thorn. The Thorn high-end shotgun is an amazing shotgun. As you can see, it is fully maxed out as well with an expertise of 15%. The core attributes are 15% shotgun damage, 12% damage to armor, and 10% damage to target out of cover. The weapon handling, the accuracy is pretty poor. The stability is pretty good. The talent is what we truly was going for in this gun, though. It's called Perfect Brazen. And basically, you receive 35% increase in amplified damage on the next shot with the weapon for each pellet that hits the target, if at least 4 pellets hit. Killing an enemy will provide plus 8% amplified damage as well. All right, for the sidearm, didn't really matter, guys. We did have the Orbit pistol equipped, but as you see in the gameplay, we didn't really even use it much. So again, go whatever sidearm or secondary weapon that you prefer. All right, guys, so in this build, we did decide to wear 3 pieces of the Gilligard set, and that gives us 5% increase in total armor, 60% in bonus health, and 2% armor regeneration. Now, keep in mind, we do have the name version of this mask. It's called the Chill Out Mask, which gives us an extra attribute slot. And for the core attribute, we did have an armor core. And the attributes, we did have a 6% critical hit chance with 12% protection from elite mods. Now, if you did not have this match, guys, I would recommend there are plenty of other choices, such as using One Piece Bellstorm Armor, which would have gave you a little bit more armor regen, which ultimately turns to more survivability. So that was one option. You could even win with one piece of the golden gear set. Of course, change your build up some, guys. All right, for the chest piece, we did go with the One Piece Overlord set, and that gives us 10% increase in rifle damage. For the core attribute, we did have an armor core, and the attributes in the middle, we did have a 12% critical hit damage and a 6% critical hit chance with a 12% protection from elite mod. The talent we did roll in this chest is called Intimidate, and while you have bonus armor, you gain 1 stack each second up to a max of 9. Each stack increases weapon damage by 4% to enemies within 10 meters. You will be very close to these enemies, guys. All right, so some other options, guys. You could have went with the name 100 killer chest. Well, the 100 killer chest was the name chest piece called the Golden Gear set. Basically, this is the perfect version of the Intimidate talent. And instead of getting that 36% increase in weapon damage when you have all stacks, you'll get up to 40% increase in weapon damage. But the only way you can obtain this chest, guys, is by taking out those hunters. There are plenty of guys on YouTube on how to obtain this item. All right, and again, you could have just, if you didn't have it, you had the Gilligard set. You could have went with the Gilligard chest as well and just roll the talent Intimidate on it. All right, so the second piece of the Gilligard set, guys, was the holster. And we did have a core attribute being an armor core with a 6% critical hit chance and a 12% critical hit damage attribute. Now, there were some other options when it comes to those attributes, guys. For example, you see, instead of putting that 6% critical hit chance, you could have rolled that to 8% more increase in weapon handling, since it does work great with rifles, or more armor regen to give you a little bit more survivability. Ultimately, the choice is yours. I go back and forth on these attributes whenever I'm putting these builds together. All right, for the knee pads, this is the third piece of the Gilligard set. For the core attribute, we did have an armor core, and again, we did have a 6% critical hit chance attribute with a 12% critical hit damage attribute. All right, guys, and for the gloves, we did go with the One Piece Zeus set, which is the name version that we did decide to wear, which is called Eagle's Grasp. And One Piece gives us a 15% increase in magazine size. For the core attribute, we did have an armor core, and that 15% increase in weapon handling attribute comes automatically on these gloves, and we did have a 6% critical hit chance. All right, guys, and the backpack, one of the best exotics in the game for solo players, is the Memento backpack, and that is because it comes with all 3 cores. You get a weapon damage, armor, and a skill tier. All right, we did put a 12% protection from elite mod on it as well, and the talent on this backpack is called Kill Confirm. Basically, killing those enemies, they drop trophies. Picking up those trophies gives you short and long-term buffs, depending on the number of cores you have. For example, each red core, each trophy I pick up will give me 5% increase in bonus armor, well, weapon damage, because as you can see on my cores, I do have 1 weapon core. For each blue core, we will get up to 60% increase in bonus armor because I do have 6 blue cores, and each trophy I pick up will give me 5% increase in skill efficiency because I do currently have 1 yellow core on the build. Basically, for every trophy collected, you gain an additional plus 1% weapon damage, plus 1% skill efficiency, and 0.1% armor regeneration. When you have all 30 stats, guys, you will have 30% increase in weapon damage, skill efficiency, and 3% armor regeneration. Just amazing. If you don't have this backpack, guys, some talents that I would recommend is Adrenaline Rush. And basically, whenever you're within 10 meters of an enemy, you gain 20% bonus armor for 5 seconds. This stacks up to 3 times. Also, another option would be the Liquid Engineer, which is one piece of the Bellstorm set. It is the name version of this backpack. And again, this comes with the talent Perfect Blood Sucker, basically killing an enemy as a stack of 12% bonus armor for 10 seconds. You get a max of 10 stacks. So these are 2 other options that I would recommend since we are relying heavily on an Intimidate talent. All right, another great option, guys, would have been if you had the one piece of the Palisade Steelworks backpack. You could have went with that as well because you got 10% additional armor back on the kill. On top of that, guys, the talent I will roll, you could put the Bloodsucker talent or even the Adrenaline Rush talent on it as well. So that way you're getting 10% more additional bonus armor. All right, for the skills, we did go with the Revival Hive on this build, guys. So that way we can get back up if we go down. And we did use the Banshee Pulse. But, you know, you can use whatever skills work best for you. This build, guys, you don't want to use a shield because it will be pretty hard to switch shoulders, or you won't even be able to switch shoulders with this gun. So it's best to use things that, you know, any other skill besides the shield. All right, so if you look at our modifiers, We did use the Zealot modifier some. This modifier is great, guys. But basically on activation, you gain 20 stacks of Zealot, and each one granting weapon damage and damage reduction. Whenever you hit 0 stacks, a damaging EMP explosion will trigger at your location, leaving you at 1 health. For every enemy hit by the explosion, though, you will recover bonus armor and health. But I was also using the sanitation modifier as well. And basically you set enemies on fire within a certain radius of you. And while the modifier is active, each enemy you set on fire has 1 stack of sanitation, which grants extra damage to the burning enemies up to a maximum of 2 stacks. And for each enemy currently burning, you repair your armor as well every second. You get a max of 3 stacks, and critical hits inflict burning on enemies as well. So basically, and all this, guys, it scales with your current level on your active modifiers. All right, for the passive modifiers, did go with Rupert's Tier. Just a great passive modifier, guys. Basically, whenever you break any piece of a tank's armor, all other armor pieces are broken. When this happens, you will apply bleeding to enemies within a certain distance of the target. We did use the keep out passive modifier, which shooting a Rusher within 10 meters staggers them, and when this happens, you gain 20% increase in movement speed, and the boost lasts for 10 seconds. And we did use that batter up passive as well. Any grenade within 5 meters of you is destroyed. It is the 30-second cooldown, and while it is on cooldown, the radius of your grenade bonus is increased by 100%. All right, so let's take a look at the weapon stats. As you can see on this build, guys, we currently sitting right at weapon damage 283,500, critical hit chance 45% with 103% critical hit damage. Did not matter, guys, because we were not relying on that for this build, and we did have 80% headshot damage. For the armor, though, we did have sitting right at 1,961,157 armor with 196,116 armor on a kill. The base armor regeneration on this build is 39,223. Keep in mind, when you do get your stacks from the mental backpack, that will go up significantly. We are sitting right at max health as well with 561,000. All right, and let me show you one other thing I do want to point out, guys. If you don't have all those gear pieces, or if you want a little bit more protection from elites, guys, you can use the improvised gear, which can be crafted at the your main base of operations. And basically, guys, that way you can get up to 80% increase in protection from elites. Just great. I do enjoy using this from time to time. Like I said, and you can craft this at the crafting table. All right, so here, let me show you, just give you a glance of showing you where you can locate it on the crafting table. Basically, just scroll down, and as you see, guys, this is the mask right here. But like I said, you just need a certain amount of material. It is a little bit cheaper, I believe, than some of the other items that you can craft. And basically, this is how you can get up to more protection from elites, or even more critical hit chance or critical hit damage, if that's what you preferred on your build. Now, in the gameplay today, guys, I was using 2 different builds. Now I'm going to show you the second version of this build that I do enjoy using from time to time as well. The survivability isn't as strong, but overall it's still a very fun build, and you will kill those enemies a lot faster. This is using the traditional striker set, except basically turning most of your cores to blue cores. The only difference on this build, guys, we did go with the rock and roll shotgun to help build up the stacks, but use whichever ACS-12 shotgun you have to help build up your stacks for the Striker's Gamble set. Basically, we did with the mask, guys, 2 pieces gives you 15% increase in weapon handling, 3 pieces gives you 15% increase in rate of fire, and when you have on all 4 pieces, you get Striker's Gamble. Basically, as long as you keep firing, you're building up stacks up to basically each bullet is 0.65% increase in damage. You get the full stacks, you'll be at the 65% increase in weapon damage. For the chest, we did still use the Overlord chest. And for the knee pads, guys, we did have a core attribute in an armor core with a 12% critical hit damage attribute. For the knee pads, for the core attribute, we did have a weapon damage core with a 6% critical hit chance attribute. We could have went for more armor on this build if necessary. All right, for the gloves, it is the 4th piece of the striker set. We did have an armor core with a 12% critical hit damage attribute. For the backpack, it is the Memento backpack, guys. Everything stayed the same with a 12% protection from elites. All right, and as far as the skills, all that stayed the same as well. All right, for the specialization, we did go with the gunner specialization because every third reload is 50% faster. You do get 10% armor back on the kill. And on top of that, guys, this is the only class specialization where you will have access to the Banshee Pulse. So keep that in mind. All right, you do generate 10% of your ammo capacity every 60 seconds Party members will receive 5% of that, and your rate of fire is increased by 5% for 5 seconds after a kill. One last thing is don't forget to equip the correct weapon element so you can get your bonus and 15% increase in weapon damage. It does play a major part in your builds. All right, another class specialization that would work great is the sharpshooter, guys, because you get all sorts of passive bonus whenever you do use the sharpshooter specialization with rifles and marksman rifles. But if you really need a little bit more protection, guys, the survivalist would have been great as well, because it automatically gives you 10% more protection from release. Top of that, you would have access to the Mender Secret Mine, which basically follows you around, constantly repairing your armor. So these were two other class specializations that I would recommend whenever using this build. Now, all right, agents, if you like the build, let's give it a thumbs up. Thank you for your valuable time and continued support. D Werewolf out.